There is a specific number of dollars that means you never have to set an alarm for work again. Most people never calculate it. That is exactly why most people never reach it. Financial independence has an actual formula behind it. It is called the 25 times rule, and once you understand it, you can calculate your own number in about 30 seconds. Here is how it works. Take how much money you actually spend in a year to live the life you want. Multiply that number by 25. That is roughly how much you need invested to never work again. This comes from something called the 4% rule, based on decades of market research. If you withdraw about 4% of a properly invested portfolio each year, historically, it tends to last indefinitely, even through market downturns. So if you live comfortably on $40,000 a year, your number is $1 million invested. If you need $60,000 a year, your number is $1.5 million. If you want $100,000 a year, your number is $2.5 million. This is a general rule of thumb based on historical averages, not a personal financial plan. Your own number depends on your actual expenses, taxes, healthcare costs, and how long you expect your money to last. Talk to a financial professional before making major decisions. Now here is where it gets interesting. What does actually reaching that number look like depending on how old you are right now? Let's start in your 20s. If you are 25 years old and want to reach financial independence by 55, assuming an average 7% annual return after inflation, you would need to invest roughly $700 to $900 a month to build a $1 million portfolio by that target age. That number sounds intimidating. Here is the part almost nobody explains. Most of that final $1 million is not money you personally put in. It is growth. Out of that eventual $1 million, you might personally contribute around $350,000 total over 30 years. The other $650,000 comes purely from compound growth, money your money made on its own. Now let's look at your 30s. If you are 35 and want that same $1 million number by 60, you now have 25 years instead of 30. The monthly contribution needed jumps to roughly $1,100 to $1,300 a month at that same 7% average return. This is the part that matters most. Every 5 years you delay starting, the monthly amount required to reach the same goal rises substantially, because you are giving compound growth less time to actually do the heavy lifting. By your 40s, the math shifts again. If you are 45 and targeting that same $1 million by 65, you have 20 years left. The required monthly contribution rises to somewhere around $1,700 to $2,000 a month. Starting at 25 instead of 45 does not just save you 20 years of contributions. It roughly doubles the efficiency of every single dollar you put in, because that money has decades longer to compound. What if you are starting later, in your 50s? At 55, with only 10 years until a typical retirement age of 65, reaching that same $1 million requires roughly $5,800 to $6,500 a month at that same average return, which is simply not realistic for most household incomes. This is the honest truth most people are not told. If you are starting later, the answer is not always to save an impossible amount every month. Often it means adjusting your target number itself, working a few years longer, or planning for a leaner retirement lifestyle. Many people in their 50s and 60s reach financial independence not through one giant number, but through a combination of savings, a paid-off home, Social Security, and part-time or flexible work they actually enjoy. Here is the entire picture side by side, all targeting that same $1 million number. Starting at 25, roughly $800 a month. Starting at 35, roughly $1,200 a month. Starting at 45, roughly $1,800 a month. Starting at 55, over $6,000 a month. The single biggest factor in this entire equation is not your income. It is time. Time is the one variable compound growth actually depends on completely. If you are in your 20s or early 30s watching this, the number that matters most right now is not how much you invest. It is simply that you start, even with an amount that feels too small to matter. If you are older and the numbers above feel discouraging, remember they are built on one specific, common target. Your own number, based on your own expenses and your own timeline, might look completely different once you actually calculate it honestly. The exact age you start does not determine whether financial independence is possible for you. It only determines what the plan needs to look like to actually get you there.